What's up, everybody? This is Gina Ifoe, the one and only African superstar, back at it again, live. I am up late tonight with my thoughts. So, shout outs to those of you that are catching this live stream. Some of you will see the playback. Big shout outs to those of you guys in America. You might be up still. It's quite late here in Ghana, actually, almost the morning. The thought that I wanted to share is the continent may not be ready for the Pan African diaspora. I first want to give a shout out to the customers at AfricanSuperstar.com. Big shout outs to all of you guys. Big shout outs to our members only. Big shout outs to those of you that have been supporting the music project. Obviously, I am shooting my new music video this Wednesday, so just a couple more days left before that is getting shot, and then therefore will be coming out soon. I'll probably premiere it in a bit. What's up, Michaelson? Big shout outs to you. Yeah, I rarely get to see you here, so it is a little after midnight where he is in Florida. So big shout outs to you. Make sure you guys like the stream. Today I want to talk about the continent may not be ready for the Pan African diaspora. I want to talk about this because I think that it is very valuable to set realistic expectations, obviously, for those of us that are coming here to the continent. Okay. We have come to the conclusion that we are currently at because of a series of events, experiences, our exposure, etc., etc. That has led us to the conclusion that, you know what, Africa is the future. I need to be in Africa. I need to get there. I need to set up my business there. It's important to reconnect. And, the laundry list of why we are coming there. It's very important that we understand that our peers around the world may not be at that point. Um, Continental Africans are growing up completely different than those of us in the West. Their exposure is completely different. Their experiences are completely different. So, therefore, they may not be where we are or unable to understand it. And what this equates to is a very frustrating and challenging differences of mentality, you know. And it also sets the stage for some people to um, find themselves in precarious situations, find themselves getting scammed, being hurt, um, disappointed, and all of this stuff because a lot of us that are coming back, we have romanticized the continent. Big shout out to the family. If you hear, leave me something in the chat room. Um, we have romanticized the continent. So, you know, when we come here, we're just so eager to be here. We're so eager to get ourselves settled. And sometimes I think we may miss the red flags. We may miss pertinent information because we don't really want to accept it. One thing that I have come to the conclusion in my travels and living in several countries is that human nature is human nature. Okay. And actually, people have a lot to do with the exposure that they have had primarily in their fundamental years, really. Whatever kind of religion they've been exposed to, the education, the media, it really shapes people as adults. When we're coming here to the continent, our peers cannot necessarily relate all the time, especially continentals. You do have obviously migrants that have, returned back and things like that. They can definitely relate to the Western experience that we're having. People born and bred here can't get with it, you know. And what I have also learned is that people here in Ghana, for instance, they don't like telling you no. So they will say yes and they will agree with you. And you may carry on a conversation and you think that this person is on your wavelength, only to find out later on that they are not. The advice that I would give my peers coming to the continent is understand what I'm telling you. we are coming back here and we are going to go through the process of pioneering. Okay. And it's going to be difficult. Okay. We're going to likely be disappointed in some of the interactions that we have and the people that we meet. One thing that I know is very prevalent here on the continent, from my experience, is that people are very driven, obviously, by survival. They're driven by their appearance to their peers. Money is paramount here. You know, if you are someone like myself who is not necessarily driven by money, I'm not the, money is everything in my life. At times you can feel like I'm kind of out of place because that is what everybody is really, really ascertaining here. Um, what that means is, when people are driving at money, for instance, they're willing to do any and everything for it. Um, that could also mean putting, utilizing you as the means to get it or whatever, you know. And just because people are living here in Africa doesn't mean that they are Pan-African, doesn't mean that they're pro-black. A lot of times those concepts are not even really relative to the continent, because the need to display that kind of preference is not here. You know, um, being pro-black is not something that, is a continental thing from what I'm experiencing. People are not groomed and promoted to participate in self-preservation and Pan-Africanism and pro-blackness. Now, Pan-Africanism, I would say, is a lot more understood in certain places on the continent, even, certain regions and things like that. It's not going to really be also a concept. If you go to Egypt or some African countries, you're not going to get a lot of that vibe out there. In East Africa, you're not going to get a lot of that vibe. I would say that it's more prevalent here, if anywhere. Obviously, there is some Pan Africanism in South Africa, but you see, Pan Africanism kind of spawns from the need to express the preference. And many continentals, they're just not thinking like that. And I know that this may sound discouraging to some of you that are making your plans, but this is just the reality, and I don't want you to be disappointed. you know you also have to be mindful that the concept of being a foreigner comes with its own expectations from the community. Again, you may be conveying to them your circumstances. They may not accept it. They may not believe it. If you tell them, hey, I'm not rich, I don't have, millions of dollars, and I'm trying to do this and I'm trying to do that, they may not be able to understand it. They may say that they do, but, in their mind, because it's been ingrained in them that the grass is greener in the West. I would say probably out of, like, obviously I've been here, going on 2 years now. I've met, hundreds of Ghanaian people in and out, up and down, taxis, whatnot. I would say that, probably in my own personal experience, roughly 7 out of 10 people really don't have like a standpoint on Pan-Africanism or pro-blackness, and they are idealizing the West. That's been my experience. I have run into some people that, for instance, love their homeland. They believe in making it here. There are some people that are really adamant, but the point is that um, we are in minority. Pan Africans on the continent is in a minority, and then the diasporian Pan African is definitely minority, because it's just, I think that our need to take this preference, obviously, it's born of the experience. So you can't expedite the experience. We had to go to work and deal with systematic racism. We had to have the encounter with the officers. We had to be insulted by our non-black peers. We had to deal with racism to be able to come to this conclusion. When we were young, and beginning our life journey, we too had aspirations of living the American dream and living as we were promoted to do. But we came to this conclusion when we realized, oh, wow, I'm having all these obstacles. I'm having all these obstacles that non-black people are having. And that is what has made us come to that conclusion. Also, you will see a lot of, diasporans have a very strong standpoint on race. And that's something that many, many, many continentals don't have. They are very inclusive when it comes to interacting with non-black people. A lot of them, again, have this concept that these people are inherently rich. So it's looked at as perhaps a step up. Now, that particular part of it, black people's interactions with non-black people, that's not strictly on the continent, because that's a worldwide thing. People in the West believe if they're marrying white or, exotic, that they're moving up in life. I think, that's rooted in colorism. That's rooted in this religion that we learn, which teaches us that we're inferior, and has provided us a God who's not in our image or likeness to, correlate the ultimate omnipotent power. So this what I'm talking about this early morning. Big shout outs, family. What's up, BB? I see you. I see you in the building. There's quite a few of you, but there's only a couple people in the chat room. Are you guys okay? Hello? Hello? Come on. What's up? What's up? What's up, family? I guess they're being kind of shy. Michael said, I don't know what that. I have that thing of spectator. A lot of people just like to watch me. That's okay. I just hope you guys are hearing what I'm saying. This is, Michelson's talking about my journey. You know, it is a journey. It is a journey. And a lot of things you're not going to know until you get here. Now, I've been coming to the continent, so I was well aware that, this Pan-African thing is not big on the continent. Does that still change my perspective of being here? Absolutely not. I came here basically as a refuge from the West. Last time I checked, all the issues that led me to this conclusion in the West are still ongoing. So, that doesn't change it. But what I'm more or less trying to prepare you for is get your mind ready for it. Because if you are prepared, then when you get here, you won't be disappointed. You won't be thinking that you're coming to some kind of like oasis in heaven on earth, because a lot of us do that, and a lot of us come, and then when we realize that it's not that way, we get disappointed. And some people decide that, okay, well, I'm going to go back to the West. I think that we have to get through this period, and make the transition in order for it to improve. We have to put our input here. This is actually something that, big shout outs, Big Money, I see you there. Big Money is referring to Art Carthy. What's up, GK? Big shout outs to my members only. Make sure you guys hit the like. What's up? What's up? What's up? I think that the diaspora also has to take some responsibility in this regard, because normally what happens when people migrate, in regards to all other ethnic groups, all right, they will go out into the world, and whatever they gather out in the world, they come and redeposit it back in their homelands. And that's why these other nations have been able to develop, China and Vietnam and Korea. The Mexicans also do it. People will, for instance, go to the West and get the resources and come and deposit them back. When we think about this whole big racial construct, the diaspora has been very poor in redepositing that on the continent and making those on the continent aware of what is available and the possibilities on the continent. You know, we do have lots of African migrants that send remittances back to the continent. So basically, they are sending, you know, financial support. They're doing projects and building personal homes, and some of them may build businesses. But I think in terms of conveying, basically the truth, which is we are foreigners in these foreign lands, and our very life is in danger, especially in places like America. We have been lax in creating our own schools. I just can't get over it because Malcolm X told us back in the 60s that we needed to take control of that. I will give the Nation of Islam, a little pat on the back because they understood. And again, this is something that all the other foreign groups do. You can find exclusive Jewish schools. You can find, definitely Asian school, all kind of schools. And these people will, wherever they go, they set up shop and they keep on pouring into their youth what is important for them to know. We have been lax in doing that. We have been lax. Our imprint on the continent has been lax. This is the price that has to be paid. Those of us that are now coming are paying the price for those that have come before us that have failed to do this. Those of us in the West, we're very accustomed to a instant lifestyle. We're very accustomed to, the conveniences and stuff like that. So, when we're migrating here to the continent, we want it to be ready. We want it to be done. But we don't also want to take the responsibility of that, the fact that we haven't been creating, the bridges. We haven't been depositing into the continent to come and then receive. Now, those of us that are here now, that's kind of the cross that we bear. If we care about the community like we say we do, and if we want change, then we got to be doing the deposits. And then the seeds that we're laying down today will be the fruit of the future. That's how it works. And I think in regards to us being successful in the continent, we have to take a very simplistic approach. Focus on the basics and then branch out. A lot of our people do a lot of talking and they're very grandiose with their ideas. And it's like, okay, just let's focus on the very basics. The diaspora should want to have an imprint here on the continent. We should have an interest in, again, bridging the gap, and not looking always to our continental Africans to, to provide something that's kind of out of their realm. If they haven't experienced the things that we've experienced, they cannot relate. Now, some people are a bit versed, they read, they watch the news, they keep up on current events, they watch YouTube. So some of them are abreast. But again, it's not the same as when you go through it. Big shout outs to the family. Guys, are you in there? Please like the stream. Hello. My goodness, I have almost 20 of you in here and like less than a handful in the chat. Are you guys okay? Okay, I hope you guys are okay. I hope nobody's like unconscious just happened into my chat room. I'll use Take as an example. Let's say that Take gets into a car accident, okay? And he's talking to me about, oh my goodness, I got to repair my car and my back is aching. I got to go to the chiropractor and my insurance company is tripping. The deductible's like $500. I can sit there and again, I can empathize with Take. And maybe I've had my own car problems to be able to relate, but at the end of the day, the person who really feels it is the person involved. This is the analogy I'm giving to the diaspora. Okay. We're very passionate about many, many things. And we often will get discouraged when we look at our peers and we don't see that same level of enthusiasm. Okay. And the mature thing, the S&P thing, our mission statement, strategy, maturity, patience. The S&P way to look at the situation is to understand that our peers are not where we are on this totem pole. Big shout outs, Fitzroy, I see you in the building. Thanks for stopping by. Much love. Also to my members only. They're designated by the circle next to their name. You know, the mature thing is to understand that our peers are not there. You know, some of us get caught up in the criticism and looking, oh my goodness, these people, this and that. Why don't they do this? Why don't they do that? Listen, guys, we gotta take up our responsibility. We talk a good talk, we talk a good game, but at the end of the day, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? You need to be very intuitive in regards to the people that you're dealing with. You know, some people here on the continent are playing the long game to get what they are trying to achieve. Okay. Don't come to the continent and lose all of your faculties and lose all of your understanding about how humans work. All right. Because you will be disappointed. What's up, Mr. Pirate Brain? I see you in the building. What's up, family? Please make sure you like the stream. You can also support the stream. You can also leave me something in the chat. I know everybody, I must just look good. Damn. Because of this spectator thing that I deal with. It's all good. Welcome to all my new viewers as well if you are new to the channel. So these were my thoughts tonight. I won't lie to you. It's after 4 a.m. here. I've been up just thinking about, you know, how unfortunate it is that we are not on a universal mode of thinking. However, this is something that I believe has strategically been imposed upon our people because obviously we are global. And if we all were operating in lockstep together to make our homeland great and to promote ourselves and self-preservation, obviously it would have a profound impact on society, and that's what they're trying to prohibit. I can remain calm and cool about certain things because I understand why they are happening. And I encourage you guys not to be reactive. Let's look at ourselves as the historical iconic pioneers that we are. Okay? Engaging in this, mass migration of the diaspora back to the continent. Let's understand how significant that is. And let's behave as if we understand. We are not little boys and little girls. We are adults. Okay? We are the gatekeepers of the future. We can either do this thing right or not. But for all the effort and all the money and all the emotional, input that we have invested to come back to the continent and our well wishes and our dreams and aspirations, behind all that needs to be an unformidable drive, okay, that understands the relevance of the time that we're in and is willing to be mature enough to see it through. Because I'm telling you guys, if we do this right, a diasporian person that wants to migrate to the continent in 20 years will be able to do it swiftly and easily because of our legacy that we're currently building. But in order for you to really be progressive, you've got to understand some of these things. Don't come here to the continent expecting, what's his name? Dr. Umar's on every corner. No. In the same way we were being miseducated and brainwashed against the continent and told that we're not welcome in the continent and people don't like us and there's nothing to be done there. People on the continent are also being indoctrinated with their specific, thing. And in my opinion, a lot of the brainwashing here is directly correlated to religion. You know, this is a very religious place, especially here in Ghana, you know. But I mean, from what I've also seen from the Muslim communities, the Muslims go just as hard, you know. And it's unfortunate because religion ultimately teaches you that you need to utilize a third party to achieve your dreams and things like that. And that is why I feel that that has kept us, from progressing, because things that we actually have the capability to do, we're not even applying it because we're waiting on some ether being to do things for us. You know, these are important things you need to know before coming to Africa. Big money is totally off the topic, but I will answer your question because I'm getting ready to wrap up. Um, Ghanaians love my music. All you have to do is go watch my music videos and you'll see tons of Ghanaians in the comments and so on and so forth. I have performed severally, here, several places I performed, obviously for Independence Day back on March 6th here in Ghana. I've always been well received in the Ghanaian community and, with some social media people that I've shared my music with and things like that. So yeah, the reception has been good. Currently, I'm building up my catalog and building up my online presence to be able to, promote more and things like that. But yeah, it's going well. I would say that's the most positive thing of 2022 so far is the music. I'm being confronted with so much ridiculous, it's just ridiculous things going on in my personal life. But I'm moving forward as far as the music project goes. And me, I am resilient. I've made up my mind that I'm going to facilitate my personal move and transition to the continent. I don't know what we can do as a collective because we are very dysfunctional, and again, a lot of that is learned behavior. You know, we don't learn how to build communities in the West. We don't learn how to fortify families. I was watching this really interesting lecture about relationships and failures in relationships. And what one of the scholars was mentioning was that when we are looking at relationships, we're looking automatically for a very unrealistic um, expectation. We want a partner that encompasses what, 4 or 5 people would do. You know, we want the lover, we want the life partner, we want the business savvy individual, we want the fitness guru, we want the high earner, and these are things that typically do not all intersect because a lot of them are very demanding aspects. But this is what we're looking for in relationships, you know. And so the scholar was expressing that our immediate view of things is what is causing us to be unhappy and unsuccessful, you know, because in the world, in the rest of the world, people have a different expectation of relationships and marriages. A lot of people in homogeneous societies such as China and India, and many people here on the continent have a perspective that, marriage is a sign of responsibility. It's very obligatory. So, hey, we're married, we have kids. This is how we need to live. This is how we need to carry on. It may not even be a romantic thing. In some cultures like India, they have arranged marriages where people don't even know who their spouse is going to be or things like that. But the reason why they're able to have these relationships and be successful in these relationships is because of the expectation. They know going into this relationship, okay, you know, this was organized by my parents, and this is how it's going to be. And I'm going to stay with this person, and we need to work together to create our relationship and our marriage. And so these are just some of the thoughts that I'm having, this early morning, like I said. um I think that if we prepare our mentality, which is what I have been trying to do tirelessly on YouTube now for years, is get you to prepare your mindset for success. Because if you come here to the continent, or just in general, and I know our people are wildly emotional, but if you come here and you're wildly emotional, you will be heavily disappointed. You will feel alienated. You'll wonder if it's worth it, and this and that. You need to understand before you come here that your cause is worth it. Okay, you need to solidify that. That has to be a personal decision of yours. And that means that even if other people next to you ain't ready to make the move, you got to be resolute in your decision to make the move, because it's for you. It's for you and maybe your future. If people around you, don't agree or don't support, but you've already made your mind, then go for it. Let's use the context of the plantation. I'm getting ready to wrap up. Oh, Mr. Pipeline, I'm sorry to hear that you were ill. And I hope you're recovering well. So sorry to hear that. Azama recently went to the UK. Yeah, I know. It's not our homeland. So, yes, there's lots and lots and lots of white people. When you get to the airport, you're going to know that you're in a foreign land. Every time I go outside of Ghana now, or, outside the continent, I realize just how I don't belong there. Immediately I get there and I'm like, okay, yeah, it's definitely not my homeland, because I got to struggle to see black people, like Azama said. Okay, so the example I want to give is about the plantations. Okay. What you got to understand is that during the time that there were runaway slaves, okay, like let's use Harriet Tubman as an example. Okay. Harriet Tubman made the decision to go for freedom when, you know, probably like 80% of the plantation was willing to stay and was not willing to go for freedom. She definitely had friends, she had family members, maybe even a spouse or whatever, that were a part of that 80%. And maybe even those 80% probably try to discourage or say, we don't want you to get killed. It's dangerous. You can get caught. And, where are you going to go? And blah, blah, blah. But Harriet decided for herself, I'm going to go ahead and go for my freedom. I know that y'all is here and I know that y'all are stuck or whatever. But me, I'm going to go for it. I don't care. I'm going to roll the dice. That is in essence what kind of mind state you need to be having if you're trying to do anything here on a continent, if you're trying to, whatever, you know, which is, I know these people around me, even including continentals. I know people don't see it. I know people don't understand why I'm here. I know I have to go through these cultural differences, but I mean, come back to yourself every single time and think about the analogy I just gave you. Okay, 80% of the people is not willing to go for it. They're not going to go for it. You know, they're counting up the costs and they're worried about this and they're worried about that, and they have low self-esteem and they think, it can't be done, and leave them with their thoughts and opinions and go for your freedom. Your freedom will speak for itself. I think that I have grown immensely as an individual since I left the US. Being able to see the world and being able to experience different walks of life and, learning so many things for myself has been phenomenal. I knew way back then when I was planning to get out of the US, 2014, 15, when I got my citizenship in the UK, that I needed to leave. And everybody thought I was crazy. And so many people tried to discourage me. And even once I moved, they refused to accept that it was a permanent move, you know. But I had to go for my sanity and I had to go for my freedom all alone. But it's critical, if what you say is true about how you feel about the continent and how you feel about your dreams and goals. If what you say is true, then you will expend nothing to make that thing happen. Big money, you can't never say never. You never been here. You don't know. I never want to live in Africa. I would love to visit and travel over the continent. You don't know that you wouldn't want to live here because you ain't never been here. There's an age-old saying that says never say never. You know what I mean? A lot of Americans think that they're living in the place to be. And as soon as they step out the hell out of America, they're like, what the hell am I going through over there? People are friendlier abroad. People have manners abroad. You can also live, for a fraction of the cost. You can live in better climates. Huh? You can live in black majorities with no racism. But you want to say, I never want to live in Africa. But you living in the US and you're going through all that drama. But you never want to live. You see what I'm saying? Don't put your foot in your mouth. You don't know what in the world is in the world unless you have traveled and seen. And there's very, very few people that go out in the world and say, you know what? The world is trash. I prefer this here, America. Most Americans, once they get out, once they start traveling, either they get the travel bug and they want to travel all, or they want to leave the country. There was a new statistic that came out a couple days ago. I actually posted it to my Instagram, which said the highest amount of Americans are rescinding their citizenship in history right now. Okay, that means people are leaving the country, seeking citizenship elsewhere. Okay, they will not be doing that if the U.S. was the premier place to be. All visionaries and leaders and world travelers, they are seeing what is happening in the States and they're exiting stage left. They're like, I'm not going to wait for everything to hit the fan. I'm going to go ahead and get out of here on my terms as I can. So, yeah, I would encourage you not to say never, say never. You don't know what the continent's like until you've been here. So, big shout outs. What's up, TT? She says, I just came back from another Nigerian trip and had to turn some disappointment to success for myself. It's a process transitioning alone, so I can imagine officially making the move. Absolutely. She's referring to the topic of this live stream, which is, the continent may not be ready for the Pan African Diaspora. We come over here on fire. We come over here, wanting to link up. We come over here wanting to get it popping, get it rolling. And then we see our peers and they're just kind of like, what are you talking about? What are you doing here? And when are you going back? And I also want to go to the UK. I want to go to America. I mean, all the progressive people know what time it is. There's going to be some people going down with the ship. But I mean, any progressive people can see what is happening. They see the inflation, they see the increased violence, they see the police brutality, they know about the chemically modified food. They see the direction, and they're going ahead and making their movements. Let me go back to Fitzroy's comment, and then I'm really going to wrap up now, guys. Fitzroy says religious inoculation retards concrete steps like practical skills and fiscal discipline. Self reliance is the only way. Absolutely. Religion makes you dependent on an invisible entity that, has is yet to manifest. You know, People will talk about they've had spiritual encounters and stuff like that, but I mean, I just be waiting for Allah or Jesus to show up on the behalf of our people. I mean, I used to wait when I used to really be under those guises. But now I'm wiser and understand that if I want anything to go on in my life, I have to take control and initiative. I didn't move outside the US by hoping and wishing and praying. I didn't start a business by hoping, wishing, praying. I don't attack my fitness goals by hoping, wishing, praying. You got to lay down the blueprint, and then you got to walk the line, you know, and our people are waiting for something that's just never going to come. The same way they're waiting on reparations, the same way they're waiting on racial equality in the West, hoping for the best, another balloon vigil, instead of getting themselves out of harm's way. You know, this is another reason why many people are migrating. Many people are migrating because they want to get out of harm's way. They don't want to become a hashtag, and they don't want to roll the dice. So they're like, you know what? I'd rather come to the continent and deal with the challenges on the continent than risk my life, because dying is finite. You know, living your life, for instance, here on the continent, you can see things improve. You can try again. You can bounce back. You can become successful. There's so much space and opportunity for you to achieve and live. But when you're dead, the story's finished. So big shout outs to family. Cynthia is asking what time. It's almost 5 a.m. here. Yes. What's up? What's up, Gerard? I see you there. I appreciate the family. We have quite a few of you here. Don't forget to like the stream. Don't forget to support the stream. But most importantly, take this message along with you in your mental Rolodex of facts. All right. That way you can be successful here on the continent. Be very, very mindful. Okay. That most of the people that you encounter here, currently are not where we are in terms of, the future goals and our outlook. They are culturally different than we are here. Okay. The upbringing and everything is different. The exposure is different. They don't live with white people. Okay. They're not dealing with racism every day. They're not dealing with the microaggressions. They're not dealing with police brutality. All the things that made us fierce Pan Africans and pro Black, you know, we lived in an environment that forced us to take a stand on it because of how we were being treated. Our peers here haven't had to go through that, but they have had their own unique set of challenges, and maturity would tell us we are culturally different, but we share so many similarities. So we should be able to partner up. Maturity should tell us the affliction of one Black man is the affliction of all. Because if you put a group of us all in the same room, they don't know who's Nigerian. They don't know who's from Barbados. They don't know who's from Ghana. Okay. All they see is Black people, and they're going to treat us all accordingly. All right. We, as the diaspora coming here to the continent, if we want the dynamic to change, we need to put our imprint here. Hello? We need to put our imprint here. That way we can tell our own stories and stop letting the mainstream media do it. You know, we can have a hands-on interaction with our peers here to be able to convey the message. You see, that's part of the reason why, look, this topic is so rich. That's part of the reason why it's so difficult for people on the continent to relate to what diasporians are saying, because they have never heard it. Okay? You may be the very first Black British person they've ever seen or ever interacted with in public. Okay? You may be the very first or only, member of the diaspora who has returned to the continent that people know, especially if you're living outside of the capital cities. Okay, you start going into rural communities and you're a few hours from the capital, you may be the very only diasporan person that community has interacted with. Okay, because our media and stuff like that has done a tremendous job of deterring Westerners to come to the continent. Okay, so if you take that perspective and you understand, I came to this conclusion when I moved to the UK, and I realized that I was the very first Black American that so many people were getting to ever meet, because they would tell me, I have never met an actual Black American. I just see you guys on TV. You know, the same thing reigns true here on the continent. You may be the very first or only. So our peers here don't even really know what we're like. Okay? They are getting a bunch of stereotypes, either from hearsay or television, and they've never actually interacted with us to know who we really are. We need to show them who we really are and what we're about and why we're coming here. You know? So big shout out to the African Superstar family. I'm gonna wrap up now. It's legit 5 a.m. I've not slept. I've been up in my thoughts all night long. All night long. As well as coming up with the wardrobe for my upcoming music video. Okay, I'm my own stylist, huh? So I got to come up with my outfits. My videographer texted me today, or well, yesterday, saying, "Yeah, I need you to come with 6 outfits," and I'm like, "Bruh." Shout outs to the family. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap up. Big shout outs to everybody who was in the chat room today. I just want to give you a round of applause. A lot of people can't follow directions, so I want to thank you guys. I want to give a round of applause also to my members only who are here and represented with the circle next to their name. They support our stream on a monthly basis. You can also join members only and get behind the scenes by clicking the join button or the link in the box below. Also, big shout outs to those of you that have been supporting the music project. Yes. Okay. I have been on task. I'm still on task. I'm getting ready to blow up. Huh? What? Surely, if I keep making good music, it's just a matter of time before I blow up. And I have so many advantages being here on the continent. So, and I'm utilizing them. So I just wanted to take a moment out and thank all of you. Big shout outs again to, my viewers all around. It's really early here in Ghana. It's almost 5 a.m. I never go live at this time because I'm usually asleep. But this was a thought that was really prevalent on my mind, and I want to share it with you guys. So I hope you gain something from this message, and most importantly, I hope you take it away as you are devising your strategy on the continent to understand what you potentially may face, and not to let that become a deterrent or a barrier, you know, but figure out how to navigate it and be successful. You know what I'm saying? A GK want me to do a collab with Sarkodie. I want to do a collab with Shoutout. I want to do. That's how I feel like I made it. Okay. I mean, not to say Sarkodie is obviously, a massive star here in Ghana as well. He's dope too. I love Sarkodie, but Shatta Wale, that's he's Ghana music. So I feel like I have made it when I have one of these collabs with one of these big guys. If any of y'all got links, hello, let me know what time it is. Okay? All right. Until we meet again, stay black and true. If you ain't black, just stay true.